incorporation of the youth into strategic leadership for sustainable development in Africa is vital. There has been historical evidence of young people's contributions in driving changes in socio-economic and political systems. Welcome to today's episode of Diplomat Couch. My name is Osli Matsikinyeri. And premised on our aim of spotlighting organizations that promote the improvement of people's social economic lives, today we highlight 4H Zimbabwe, an organization that is involved in youth development. And 4H Zimbabwe recently bagged an International Peace Award as NGO of the Year. And to shed more light on how they are shaping sustainable youth development, we have Mr. John Muchenje, who is the 4H Zimbabwe National Director. Welcome to the Diplomat Couch, Mr. Muchenje.
Thank you very much.
The first and foremost, tell us more about the inspiration behind the formation of 4H Zimbabwe and what does the H stand for?
Okay, thank you very much. Our inspiration was brought by the theme where we want to see a developed nation or developed Zimbabwe, where young people actively and meaningfully participate in the development of our nation. So in terms of the 4Hs, we've got the first one, which is the head, where we are saying young people should use the head to think and also use the hands to work, and also health. We are concerned about their health. That's why we are involved in the physical and mental health. And then we've got the last one, which is the heart, where young people are saying they should be loyal to their country and also their leadership. That's why we have two flags here, the one for our country and also the one for 4H. So encourage young people to be loyal to their country.
Okay, thank you. So the H is head, hands, heart, and health. Thank you very much. And how has been the reception of 4H in the Zimbabwean communities and beyond Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. In Zimbabwe, when we started at first, because we are doing programs with political parties, it was slightly difficult. You know, sometimes when you want to engage political parties, the issue of trust, when you don't know each other, at first it's limited. But through continuous engagement with the young people and also the political parties, we've managed to gain trust where we've signed MOUs with those political parties in terms of the work that we are doing under peace and governance. And also further to other work that we do, which is climate change and education, food security. We've also secured an MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture where we are doing some programs on enhancing climate resilience in the rural areas. So in terms of the reception locally, we have been received well through all the political parties, through all the government ministries, because we're also working with the Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Home Affairs, and the Ministry of Women Affairs in terms of our programming. Then in terms of the international, we're happy that we recently got an award internationally, which means our work is being appreciated at the local level, where we also got an award from the Diplomat, and also at African Union level, where we have been selected to receive another award for the peace work that we are doing, and also internationally. So it means that our organization is being recognized international, regional, and local.
Congratulations on all those awards.
Oh, thank you so much.
So according to 4H, what are the challenges that youth in Zimbabwe are facing, and what are you doing to address them? You've mentioned the MOUs you've signed with other organizations. What exactly are you doing to address those challenges? Okay.
When we launched our organization, we looked at the things that are affecting young people, which is the first one, which is employment, the opportunities, each to do with drug abuse, each to do with the climate change. That's why you see our work is focused on peace and governance, where we've seen that young people have been used as tools for political violence by political parties, and also there are limited opportunities within the political parties, political barriers that have been structured by political parties, barring active or meaningful youth participation in their political parties, and also look at climate change. The climate change is a global crisis where we're also seeing that young people and the women are mostly affected. So as an organization, we've then said, let's do our programming stimulating these two things, peace and governance, and also climate change and education. So through our interventions, we are capacitating young people on peace building, promoting tolerance amongst young people, diverse groups from political parties. And also on climate change, we are capacitating youth and women in the rural areas in all districts in Zimbabwe on enhancing climate change, climate education, and also building resilience on those communities. We've drilled some bores in Urungwe where we've also improved the access to clean water, because we've seen that because of climate change, there are now high shortages of water. And also we've also been promoting the use of renewable energy, where we've also used or installed solar-powered bores in the rural communities.
And then you also have a 4H STEM program that is anchored on digitalization. And in Zimbabwe, we have a wide gap in that space. how do you facilitate STEM-related activities in a way that is inclusive? And as you explain that, you can also tell us more about other programs that you are currently working on.
Okay, thank you very much. On STEM, we haven't done much as an organization. What we have done so far is try to engage the Ministry of Agriculture in digitalization of their rural agri-tax officers, promoting the use of digitalization on enhancing climate resilience. So through the MOU that we have signed with the Ministry of Agriculture, we are pushing another MOU with an Australian organization where we are trying to digitalize our own agri-tax officers in terms of weather patterns, also pest detection. So we're discussing the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of pushing that. And also we have been trying to push also rural computerization, because of COVID. Most of young people in the rural areas, or the children, they will not manage to do lessons because of the COVID. So what we've actually did is try to source computers for the rural schools to make sure that they're also computerized and they're also part and parcel of the mobile learning.
Okay. And then at the heart of your organization is sustainable development of the environment. What are some of the activities that you have been doing that are sustainably contributing to the environment?
Okay, the first one, like I mentioned before, is use of renewable energy, where we're trying to promote the use of solar panels in the rural areas as a renewable energy. We've also done tree planting programs. We've done that in partnership with the National Forest Commission in Zimbabwe under the Ministry of Climate Change. And also, we've tried to engage the same ministry in terms of preservation of our own forest. We are doing a study on Mafunga's forest in Gokwe, where we have seen that the forest used to be very big, over 100,000 hectares, but it has been reduced to be a shadow of what it used to be, and also dilapidation of the forest. So we've tried to come up with interventions that preserve the biodiversity in our country.
Thank you very much for enlightening us on 4H. When we come back, we'll discuss about how 4H Zimbabwe is involved in advocating for peace. Welcome to today's episode of Diplomat Couch. Today we are joined by Mr. John Muchenje, who is the National Director of 4H Zimbabwe. Mr. Muchenje, you received an award in your efforts to advocate for peace. May you please tell us more about this accolade and how do you promote peace as 4H Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. In terms of promoting peace in our country, we work with the various stakeholders that we have identified as that are key in terms of peace building in our country. The first one are the youth assemblies or youth wings from 6 main political parties in our country. So we are working with SANPF, we are working with CCC, MDCT, FIZ, LEAD, and NCA. So we've identified these young people after we've seen that youth are the drivers. So, there are tools that are being used by political parties in pursuit of violence in our country. So we're engaging the young people from political parties. We are also working with the Zimbabwe Public Police. We have seen that there is a missing gap between the communities and the law enforcement agents, where there is a little bit of blame games. So as an organization, we said, let's bring these people together so that at least we promote peace together. Each and everyone knows his responsibility in terms of pushing for community-driven peace initiatives in our country. We are also working with the National Peace and Reconciliation Commission, which is the umbrella body which pursues peace in our country, in Zimbabwe. So we've signed the MOUs, political parties, engaging Zimbabwe Public Police, and also engaging NPRC as the motherboard of peace in our country. So we are working through dialogue discussions that we are doing, and also using sport as a tool to promote peace and tolerance in our country. We have seen that sport speaks language that is understood by young people, and it unifies people. So we've said, let's use sport as a tool to bring people together, and then we preach the gospel of peace and also tolerance.
Thank you. And then what criteria is used to select the youth who want to be part of this organization or who want to be involved in the programs that you are currently undertaking? Okay,
thank you so much. Our organization targets young people between 16 and 35. We don't segregate based on any discriminatory factor, but we want everyone to be involved in our work. So which means anyone who's in Zimbabwe who is between 16 and 35 is welcome to work with our organization. That's why we are an apolitical organization. We don't belong to any political party. That's why we bring all political parties together without any hesitation, because we represent the interest of young people in our country.
Okay, and then you've mentioned a lot of local stakeholders that you're involved in, government ministries, political parties, and outside of Zimbabwe, which other stakeholders do you work with?
In terms of our financial support, we are being supported by the government of Switzerland, which is our key financial partner, and also other organizations, partners like Crossing Border, which is in Denmark, and also the Embassy of Japanese in terms of our climate change programs. And as an organization, we are a network of other 4Hs, so also collaborate our efforts and exchange ideas with other 4Hs in Africa. We are also a member of 4H Global, which is the main one, and also 4H Africa. We are also a member of NANGO. So we also network with NANGO, other members that are there, that are also doing the same work on peace building in terms of exchange program and sharing ideas.
Okay. And then now you've mentioned the peace building programs that you're involved in. We are going into election season. What role is 4H going to play in promoting a peaceful election among the youth?
Our first role is to bring issue of tolerance, that we might differ in terms of our own perceptions, our own political ideology and beliefs, but we are all Zimbabweans. So our message to young people, the main role that we want to play is to say, we are all Zimbabweans. What binds us is more than what separates us. We are only being separated because I belong to a blue color, green, yellow, black, but at the end of the day, we are all Zimbabweans. So we want to promote tolerance among us young people, among us the communities, to understand each other, to know that elections, they come and go. But what is important is that we have a developed Zimbabwe, a developed nation where everyone is able and freely participating in our issues to do with our country.
Thank you for that. And what are your resolutions for 2023 as 4H Zimbabwe?
Okay, 2023 to us, we see it as a very important year because that's when we are going to have elections. And most of our work now, we are being focused on promoting peace and tolerance in our country. So our main resolutions is to bring young people together from all diverse political, social and ideologies to come together and support our country in terms of development, be peaceful and united, regardless of our different political and social ideologies.
So, Mr. Mchenje, 4H Zimbabwe, from what I understand, has been operational since 2019, which means you were not involved in the last harmonized elections. So with the coming election season and based on research during the last election season and post-election, what are you hoping to change? What are you hoping to achieve as 4H Zimbabwe?
Okay, thank you very much. Our hope is to see a peaceful election in 2023 where young people are peace ambassadors of peace. We did some trainings for the 75 peace ambassadors. We have 25 from ZANU-PF, 25 from CCC, and 25 from MDCT. And we're increasing our net for the peace ambassadors from other political parties. So we want to see young people at the forefront of preaching the gospel of peace within their communities. And we also want to see the same from the president. We understand that during 2018 elections, there was a peace pact that was signed by the presidents from different political parties that will participate in our election. So we want to make sure that the same is being repeated from the youth leaders from these political parties, because since these are what we can call machines for violence, the young people. From the trial that we had with the several presidents, they said, please continue hammering the word of peace among the young people, because these are the people that are used in terms of pushing for violence in our country. So what we want to see each and every young people in the country preaching the gospel of peace. So we'll continue to work with other people that have influence on social media, because most of young people are being found on social media, and also people on the ground working with traditional leaders or veterans pushing for peace. So we want everyone in Zimbabwe to push and to be a peace ambassador in our nation.
And besides 4H Zimbabwe pushing and promoting peace during the elections, are you actively involved in encouraging voter registration among the youth of Zimbabwe?
Yes, we've been doing a program called Your ID, Your Passport to Vote. We've been encouraging young people to take IDs, because we've seen that we can push young people to register to vote, yet they don't have IDs. Yet ID is a prerequisite for you to register to vote. So we've been doing programs encouraging young people through the use of other socialists on social media, people that have influence on social media. Like, for example, Lorraine Kuyo, she's our peace ambassador, that she's pushing young people to go and get IDs and register to vote. We've also done programs at the student universities. We've done programs at University of Zimbabwe, Binro University, and also other universities pushing young people to register to vote and participate in the electoral process.
Thank you very much. When we return, we talk about 4H Zimbabwe and the SDGs that their organization seeks to address. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Diplomat Couch. Today we're joined by Mr. John Muchenje, who is the National Director of 4H Zimbabwe, an organization that seeks to encourage youth involvement in addressing sustainable development in Zimbabwe. Mr. Muchenje, at the heart of your organization is SDG number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Which other SDGs are you addressing as 4H Zimbabwe?
Okay, thank you very much. In total, we are addressing about 7 SDGs, which is the first one, which is addressing is to do with poverty through our own initiatives, which is sustainable agriculture, food security, climate change, education, and action. So under these SDGs, we are trying to eliminate or reduce poverty in the rural areas through agriculture, where we are capacitating rural farmers, especially the women, on conservative farming methods, which means promoting Fumvuza, establishing of nutrition gardens, which are led by women. Through that, we are eliminating poverty within the young people and also women in the rural areas. And also trying to address the SD number 2, which is hunger, elimination of hunger. Through the same that we are doing with poverty, we are also trying to reduce the levels of hunger in the communities, capacitating the farmers in the rural areas. And then another one which we are pushing also, which is well-being through our sporting activities. You know, sports sometimes you are bringing the issues to do with the physical and mental fitness and well-being of young people when they are playing sport. And then we have got the gender equality. Under this one, we have the program that we're also doing in terms of capacitating young women in leadership position, where we are trying to bring in the aspect of inequality, where most of men, they are on leadership position as compared to women. So we are trying to capacitate women on leadership. We'll be doing several trainings on women that are aspiring in politics to train them on basic leadership qualities, give them confidence to participate in the electoral process, taking up position in government, in any parastate or at any level within the communities. We are also addressing SDG number 6, where we are talking about access to clean water through the bores that we've successfully drilled in Urungwe. We drilled about 8 solar-powered bores that we drilled in the communities, ensuring that the communities have access to clean water. And then we are also addressing the SDG number 7, talking of promoting of clean, affordable energy, where we are putting solar-powered bores. At the same time, rural communities are able now to access clean energy, which is affordable within the communities. We are also addressing the SDG number 13, which talks about the climate change, which is one of the work that we are doing as an organization in enhancing and building resilience on rural communities, especially the women, on climate change. So through this, we are doing climate change education programs, where we have been in Chirumanzu, Seke, Ulilima, Urungwe, Macheke, and other rural districts. Our target is to reach 40 rural districts which are in Zimbabwe, targeting women per each district, give them information, more and more information about climate change, building resilience, promoting the conservative farming methods, which is done by the government, which is Fumvuza. And also, in terms of climate change, that's what we've spoken about, is to do with the access to clean water. Climate change usually, it results in shortages of access to clean water. So we've been facilitating the drilling of bores to make sure that the communities have access to clean water. And there's also, under the climate change action, we are planting trees in the rural communities, targeting the tobacco farming areas. Because if you look in Zimbabwe, there are 3 main causes of deforestation, which is tobacco farming and brick molding, and also people that are clearing land for agriculture. So we've engaged the Ministry of Agriculture and also tobacco farmers to make sure that we replace the trees that are being cut when people are doing tobacco curing.
And in the view of 4H Zimbabwe being part of a global network, have you decentralized your activities here in Zimbabwe as well?
Okay. 4H Zimbabwe is a national organization. It's just our offices are here in Harare, in the capital, where a lot of things are being done. But our plan is to have regional offices, in our provincial offices, in each and every provinces. We want to start opening one in Bulawayo, because we have northern and southern Zimbabwe. The northern, which covers Mashonaland, Central, Harare, and Manicaland, and then the southern, which covers Midlands, Masvingo, and Blawa, and Mat North and Mat South. So our plan is to have 2 main offices. The one covers the southern part, then the one covers the northern part in the country. But in terms of activities, we do activities in all provinces. Like for example, the program that we are doing, we've been doing programs in Bulawayo, in Harare. On the 22nd of December, we are going to have the same sporting games for all political parties promoting Unity Day in Manicaland, and then Masvingo and all other provinces in our country.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
And looking to the future, what are your resolutions as 4H Zimbabwe for 2023?
Like I said before, that our main area, our main theme is to see a peaceful Zimbabwe, or even a developed Zimbabwe which is peaceful, where young people actively and meaningfully participate in the development processes. So our view is to include the young people in the development processes in our country. We want to see a peaceful nation where young people are peace ambassadors. They are actually brand ambassadors for the organization, pursuing peace at community level, at the provincial and at national, and also the inclusion of the leaders. We can't talk of a peaceful nation without the inclusion of the political leaders. We want the political leaders to be included. As an organization, we did some marathon meetings with all the political presidents in this country, telling them the initiative that we are doing with young people in pushing for peace in our country. And we are happy that we have received positive messages from them, and they are actually impressed by the work that we are doing as an organization, working with their youth from their different political parties in pushing and pursuing for peace in our country. Any
parting words before we conclude today's episode of Diplomat Couch?
My parting words as an individual, as a representative for Zimbabwe is for us all. As young people, let's respect one another, regardless of different opinions that we might have. This is our nation. We need to have a peaceful election which is credible in 2023. So let's come together as young people from different political and social views, preaching peace and unity in our country ahead of 2023 elections.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mchenje, for joining us on today's episode of Diplomat Couch. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
And that is it for our episode today. We were joined by National Director of 4H Zimbabwe, Mr. John Mchenje. 4H Zimbabwe is an organization that seeks to promote involvement of the youth in sustainable development programs in Zimbabwe.